What's going on, guys? It's Tony with Urban Girl Scout Media. Living the dream as always. Out here doing a poor sound quality recording on the lake with Jason, and we may have one more person along the way. We don't know yet for sure. TBA. Just had some vitamins, so, feeling a little good from that. And just out here with no real agenda. Just talking about what's going on in the world. Pandemics. Racial cultures changing. Sports are about to start back up. It's pretty exciting. So, Jason, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you, Tony, for having me on the Living the Dream. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some more sports back in here because, to be honest, not really watching the couple sports that are back on yet or right now, NASCAR and. I'm not watching the Korean baseball either.
No KBO.
Yeah.
No KBO. It's like, bless the announcers that are trying, man. Bless the announcers that are trying. Because, that's fucked up. That's really tough to be on the other side of the world calling a game from basically in your closet for a foreign country that I couldn't pronounce a single name. So, that was really fucked up. I'm glad that basketball is trying to come back, and I'm glad that baseball got their shit figured out. Because I'm going to be honest, I was about to start watching the AFL, Aussie Football League. I was getting that desperate with just needing sports. It was getting to that point.
That way, is the Aussie Football League, is that just rugby?
I believe so. I believe it's a form of rugby. I hear Pat McAfee talk about it a lot, and they're a couple weeks ahead of me in terms of desperation. I think they're like, hey, we need something now. But they're a sports show.
Yeah.
So that's fair. So he keeps talking about it. And there's this one guy, I don't know if his name's actually Cockzilla, but his name is consistently Cockzilla.
Mm.
And he's the only American player in the Aussie Football League.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, you already got my attention with the name and the fact that you're the only American in the league. So that's pretty cool.
All right.
Did you see Buster Only's conversation about the likelihood of baseball coming back? All the work that they did, and one of their best insiders, it's like Tim Kirchin and Buster Only are like the two best insiders. And Buster came out and said, there's a 0% chance they finish the season, and there's a 5% chance they start it. Because of the fact that they're going to try and let all these teams play in their home parks, you're not going to be able to travel. There's already players who, two players from the Washington Nationals who won the World Series last year, Ryan Zimmerman, I can't remember the other guy, they've already said, we're not playing.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
I would say, now I don't know if literally 5% start, 0% finish.
Yeah, that's just an opinion.
Definitely, I'd probably say under 50% finishing. I think we're definitely over 50% starting, but under 50% finishing just because of the fact that I'm guaranteeing at least some players are going to get, the pandemic stuff. And
they're going to catch the Budweiser flu.
Yeah. And because of that, the league is going to have to, and not just baseball, any league that is going to be playing during these times are going to have to figure out what, how many is too many before they're like, okay, we're shutting it down.
You might want to take us a bit into that direction. So we're on the boat just cruising. We were going to go to the usual spot, but some cunts are out there. So, yeah, there's certain words I won't say, but I'm taking the word cunt back. And I've posted this on the page on Facebook a lot. Our third person who may or may not be here, eyebrows raised up, and I know if that person's eyebrows is raised enough, it's like I got to address the conversation, or the elephant in the room, the cunt word, if you will. And so really, I'm just taking that word back, because that isn't just at the ladies, that's at the guys, the ladies, that's at the young, the old, every ethnicity, every gender, every religion, anybody can be a cunt. So yeah, I stand by that. Speaking of cunts, did you see the camouflage the New England Patriots pulled on everyone this Sunday?
Oh, with the moment they get hit with
17 minutes after they get the press release of their punishment for Spygate number 2, which who tapes the Bengals? Who in their right mind tapes the Bengals? Then they, coincidentally enough, signed Cam Newton.
Hey man, Bengals got AJ Green. Okay, come on.
been out with foot injury. He's been out, I'm sorry, he's been out with foot. I love that. I love when they say, like, been out with this. Got a helicopter flying over. The Patriots are, like, they're going to go down as the most celebrated cheaters of all time. That blows my mind how good they are at cheating. Or, like, some people say, like, pushing the envelope.
That's that. And I feel like the consequences were not even that bad for them. Like, $1.1 million, it's a drop in the bucket. A third round pick is...
Oh, Bill. Bill ain't
is,
happy about that.
It is kind of bad, but I'm like, that's at least, 3 times that they've been caught cheating in the past decade,
Yeah.
I think, right?
So fun fact, if Cam Newton plays this season and then they just release him, so you get a compensatory pick or whatever, it would be a third round pick. So by signing Cam Newton, not only did they have camouflage, but they're going to get like a middle of the draft, 3rd, 4th, 5th round style pick
just
to compensate for losing a quarterback to free agency.
Yeah.
So they have covered themselves, and literally what the fine was is what they're paying Cam Newton. It's like almost the exact same amount. It's crazy. I think it's more about the image. And I know, like, Bill Belichick doesn't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to go super dark here for a minute. Bill Belichick's the kind of guy that you're glad he's in sports and he's not, like, out there because he'd be a Ted Bundy. Bill Belichick would be a Ted Bundy if he was not in sports. He would be murdering people. Like, Hannibal Lecter, he'd probably be the real-life Hannibal.
I don't know about that, but I would say...
He doesn't give a fuck!
I know. But you know what? I feel like he would probably be a lawyer and get a lot of people off.
Who probably do awful things like that.
Yes, because he would find some...
He sympathizes with them.
He would find some crazy loophole in the law that gets the people off. Like, that's what...
The friends and the gloves don't fit, I must quit. Goddamn Johnny Cochran of football over here, man. I don't know. Like, I love me some Tom Brady. But, God, that team is just riddled with cheating. Like, that is tough, man. Like, and I forgot all about that. I'm going to be honest. Like, between that and the, what was the other thing?
You got Deflategate, that, and then the original Spygate.
Yeah. Which they spy on shit teams. I mean, I guess the Jets because they're in their division, but,
yeah.
Like, the Bengals and the Jets are two franchises that historically have got no value in spying on.
Yeah.
So,
you don't... When you got Tom Brady, first off, you don't need to be spying on teams.
So I'm like, how much more do you need? Like, the rich just getting richer. But,
And speaking of Tom Brady, so just, like, quick thing, who do you think will have a better season? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers or Belichick and the Patriots? Because this is the whole thing where it's like, was it Brady or was it Belichick that was getting all those wins?
Yeah, because it's like, who's going to... So, Tom looked like he was going to win the divorce in the short term. He looked like he was going to win. He was the one that went out, went to the gym, started dating someone a little bit out of his league right away. Like, that's what Tom looked like walking out of this and walking into Tampa. But it's important to note that for the first time, and I'm pretty sure that this had to play in Tom's mind when they said they didn't want to get more weapons, Patriots have the hardest schedule they've had in the past 20 years. And I think they have like one of the 2 or 3 hardest in the AFC this year.
Yeah, I think Patriots actually have the hardest schedule in all of the NFL.
All right, well, there you go.
And I think the Jets are second.
Well, the Jets aren't going to do anything. I'm sorry. Darnold's going to be out with mono. We're going to crash.
Yeah,
we're going to crash.
The AFC East.
If any Willards listen to this, I'm talking about this little thing in the water. Nothing major.
The AFC East, I think, have all 4 teams have top 5 or 6 hardest schedules.
I think Tampa Bay is going to have a better year just because Stidham and Cam, neither of them have started in New England's system. Cam's never played in that system, and Cam is not exactly what that system is. Cam's more flash and swag. That system's more factory style. Cam's more independent, and that system's more of a factory. So it's going to take a little bit of bending, but God, what if Bill Belichick just like bridges the gap, has a decent year, trades a couple draft picks, gets Trevor Lawrence, knows how to run with these big old huge quarterbacks. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, what the fuck? And again, I love me some Tom Brady, but I'm done. 20 years, man, I'm done. I am literally burned out with, like, why can't it be the Steelers and the Bears, like, in that conversation? Why does it have to be a team in Boston that's on the other side of the country? I can't go to their home games. Their fan base isn't really... I'm not even getting on the social thing. I'm just talking about their fan base in general. It's rough. Like, you thought New York fans were bad. Boston fans are... They're rough. But on the same token, for, like, what, the past century, they've pretty much been the epicenter of great sports. Like, at least the past, what was it, like, the past 15, 20 years, they've won a championship in every sport, at least one, and several in a couple. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
Fucking sports, man. So let's end this with basketball. We're going into the Dome. Stephen A. Smith doesn't think the NBA players can go without getting some punani for a couple of months. He thinks they're going to leave the bubble. I personally think Stephen A's onto something a little bit there. You know, like, when the cat's away, the mice will play. And if you can't bring your family with you, I'm not insinuating anything, but I'm just saying we live in a real world. So let's just keep that real. There's going to be players, even if there's other reasons, like they're roasting on Joakim Noah, saying that because he plays for the Clippers, so he's, you know, on a notable team, he's going to be a high-profile player if he gets in any trouble or can't play or whatever. Talking about, you know, he may, because they don't even want breathing the same air as people who are outside of the bubble. Segregation of air, maybe? I don't know. But they're talking about Joakim Noah's getting in trouble for smoking the pot and, you know, outside the bubble because they're going to monitor it inside the bubble and all this shit, and that's why he's going to get kicked out. And, like, there's all these things, and, like, they want these players to give up their freedom even more so than they were when they were in isolation at home with their families to restart a season that, unless you're like, what, Milwaukee, one of the two LA teams, maybe Toronto, because they've proven a lot this year. I can't really think of anyone else in the East I would be willing to bet money on. Unless, like, there's a team that signs one of these free agent players from another team that isn't coming back that decides to risk it for that and go play on another team. There's only, like, 4, maybe 5 teams that really should even care about this season.
Yep.
Like, I love me some basketball, but good God, this, and, like, why didn't they do the soccer group stage? I don't know. It's just, this is a mess.
And you notice how they went to 22 teams just so the Pelicans,
so
Zion can get in there.
Zion. That. And then, like, this hype, the Zion hype, I get he's a great player, but, like, you know, people are saying, oh, he's come back, he's going to be something special. Like, he was already something special, okay? 8 games before the playoffs start, they have to win a lot of those games to even make it. They really just want to get Zion a little more TV time because it is about the money, no matter what Adam Silver says.
And they also gave Pelicans the easiest schedule for the remaining
because are they doing by conference or are they just doing top 16 for the playoffs? Because if they're doing by conference, it would be Lakers.
That I don't know.
It'd be Zion and King James. If the Pelicans could make a run to the playoffs, they'd likely be an 8 seed.
Yeah.
So, I need more love though for my boy Ja Morant. Like, he's not as flashy. He's not as high profile, but man, he's skilled. He is really skilled. I was watching some highlights the other day, just kind of getting hyped back up. First year player. He's got some court vision that really excites me. And, like, Memphis has always been a ground and pound team in the sense of, like, or the Grindhouse. Wasn't that what they were called for the longest time? Was the Grindhouse. When they had, like, Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. He's kind of like the exact opposite. Like, they grind it out on defense still, but he's upbeat. He's up tempo. I really like the way he plays, and he's kind of like that new point guard in the NBA where it's a little bit longer. It reminds me a little bit like just his length, maybe like of Evan Turner a bit, where he's like long, can have some handles. Shot-wise, I think he's got some ways to go, but I love me some Ja Morant.
He is good. He is good.
You don't know dick about Ja Morant.
I have not seen many Grizzly.
I don't watch many Grizzly games, man.
But I have seen some highlights on ESPN of them, and because I think they did. I think they did like a top 10 plays of Ja Morant not so long ago. from the season. And yeah, he made some spectacular plays.
Calls himself a point god. Which at first I was like, ooh, I don't know. But then you watch him play, and he's playing with big boys out there in the NBA. Like, he's playing in the big boy league, and he's like, he wasn't just some college like phenom. It feels like he's really got some staying power here. Like he was just in Jimmer Fredette. Like Jimmer Fredette's a perfect example. He was great in college, but he played around a real shitty conference. He didn't play top tier competition, and you could say the same about Jog coming into the season. But he is proving it, man. I love this guy. So, I don't know. I don't mean to dick ride him, but I got to dick ride somebody right now. Might as well be Ja Morant. I ain't doing the Zion thing.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
For Zion, I feel like how explosive he is, I don't know if his body can keep it up for, more than just a few years.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That dude's fucking big, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that is... So he's the closest thing to, like, a freak athlete in the NBA since LeBron that I can really think of that I feel like is going to be a top-tier kind of player. Like, he's going to have that staying power.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that freak body. He's got that athleticism. And he can shoot a little bit. Like, Giannis is great, too. Don't get me wrong, but I think Zion just has a little bit more of that freak build that LeBron has.
If you were starting a team, who would you build around? Giannis. John Morant, or
Giannis all day.
Giannis? Okay.
Giannis all day. More developed. If I'm not even gonna let you choose the other ones. If it's Giannis, Ja, and Zion, it's Giannis all day. Just because he can play 1 through 5, and in a positionless NBA. Well, that feels like a good stopping point. Hopefully it's still recording. It is. Damn, that was a long one. 17 minutes and some change. All right, guys. Trying to find the stop button here.